Hosted by Bentley.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Donkey Show. Today's guest is a special one. He is the myth, the legend, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. No, I'm playing. He's a special guest.
Attempting to break the ice, Bentley made a wrestling reference. As you can see, that didn't go too well. Back to the show.
He's here representing Eighth Wonder. He's a co-founder. Let's welcome Ryan to the Donkey Show.
What's going on? Happy to be here.
Round of applause. Thank you for joining us today, man. I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate you joining us today.
Hey, man, we just brew beer, throw events. Happy to spend some time with y'all.
So to get started, I wanted to ask you a question. How did you get into this badass, dope-ass job that you have, which is involved beer 24/7 all around?
Started as a home brewer. So I went to school in New Orleans, and my junior year, all my friends went abroad. They went to travel to Europe. I stayed in New Orleans and said, damn, I need to get a hobby. So I learned how to brew beer. And this is like 2005, and really brewed a bunch of batches and continued with it throughout the years. And graduated from New Orleans, came back to Houston, got a job in corporate America, financial consultant. I really liked it. But I got laid off during the recession, and I hit the bar and restaurant scene pretty hard and started working in the industry, waiting tables, working as a promoter and a manager at a bar. So got a little bit of experience in the food and beverage side of things, and then kind of had this itch. I wanted to open up my own thing. And my parents were like, yeah, cool, good idea. Go back to school. I was like, all right. So I applied to University of Houston grad school, hotel and restaurant management. And then within my first semester, I applied to the business school there too. And so during my time there, I got an MBA as well as a master's in hotel and restaurant management. And in that time, I also wrote the business plan for Eighth Wonder and Eatsy Boys. And fast forward a few years, those two businesses are up and running.
Damn, so how did all of that come together, all of y'all? So it's a few of y'all that came together and made this idea?
Yeah, there's a little bit of overlap and some, I guess, extension of each other on the businesses, but myself and two partners make up Eatsy Boys, okay. And then Eatsy Boys plus another partner makes up Eighth Wonder, and with both of those companies, we've got great employees, great team, dedicated people, and Eighth Wonder's got a really great investor group as well, people that support us and took a risk on us, and we owe a lot to them for taking that risk.
When you see it now, because you say you went to college and all this stuff, did you ever see yourself actually that being what you were going to be doing, the brewing part? And
while I was in school, I did not think I would be in the brewing industry, but I did go to school for undergrad in finance and marketing, and then as I mentioned, I did go back to grad school and got a master's in business administration as well as a master's in hotel and restaurant management. So kind of my later career in school definitely became a little bit more focused into this industry. But, a brewery, everyone thinks it's just a very glamorous, rock star, fun and games industry. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fun and there's a cool element behind it. But, it's a business, and it's a food grade manufacturing facility. It's a laboratory. It's a marketing machine. It's an event company. It's all of the above. And
well, you guys have a little bit of everything, which is, y'all embrace everything, right? And y'all embrace everybody. Is it important for y'all to embrace the Houston culture?
We're Houstonians born and bred. We don't know anything
else
other than this culture. We grew up in this culture. We embrace this culture. This culture framed us. And so this is us kind of just paying tribute to it. The way we look at Eighth Wonder and breweries as a whole, and this is nothing new, this has been going around for centuries, but towns were formed around breweries and breweries were formed around towns, very community oriented, right?
Yeah.
And we're just trying to do that with a modern Houston twist, right? We're located in downtown Houston, right in the heart of this 5 million person city. And yes, we try to appeal to as many people as possible, sports fans, music fans, of course, beer fans, and really try to tie everyone in, whether that's events on site or sponsoring stuff off site. We really want to connect with the people around town.
What y'all do, y'all do a DJ Screw event. Y'all do, I remember last time, just the vibe there is different. I remember last time I went, being Latino last time I went, and the music inside was cumbias. And everybody was, I don't know, it was pretty dope, So y'all do give that welcoming vibe to everybody, which is pretty dope.
Listen, Houston is the most diverse city in America. And this is just a cross section of that diversity here at a brewery. It's very representative of who we are as a city. And yes, Houston has a very mixed demographic, and I think we see that at the brewery, and we love it.
What is the creative process for y'all making a good beer? Because y'all have a lot of beers, and every single one of them has a different taste. For example, mine is this one.
Sure, that's
but what goes into it? What is the creative process behind it? How do you approach it?
There's a lot that goes into making a beer. First we take a step back and kind of look at what beers are available in the market, what's being represented, what's overrepresented, what's underrepresented. And then we look at beers that within our own portfolio, what do we not have? What are we missing? What is a style that we would like to kind of, try our hand at? So we kind of look at the market both from an external standpoint as well as an internal standpoint. And then we see who in our wheelhouse has recipes that they're proud of or want to work on recipes. We've got a brewmaster, Aaron, who oversees the program, but we've got great brewers on site, Jason, Nathan, and Patrick, and we all lean on each other and see what we've got, what we're interested in. But it's definitely a collaborative effort. We again look at the market, look at what we've done, see what styles are out there, what's trending, what has been maybe retired for a while that we want to bring back. So there's a lot of factors that come into play.
A few more questions.
Please.
When did you know your beers were actually good, that people actually enjoyed them?
Listen, there's a saying in the brewing industry, you're only as good as your last batch. And what that I think you got to stand by is you always got to be striving to brew the best beer. You can't hang your hat on something you brewed a few years ago or what have you. And I'll be very honest, our beer's gotten far better than when we first launched. And I like to say that a brewery is like a stick shift car. And it takes a driver about a year or so, 12,000 miles, to really break that car in and have that car respond to the driver, right?
Correct, yeah.
Same thing with the brewery. I mean, when we were brewing our beer, we were brewing on 10, 15 gallons at a time. Scale that up to 620 gallons at a time.
How do you keep that same flavor right from when you're doing it to small, to bigger batches?
It's an art to brew a really flavorful, great beer. It takes science to be able to do it over and over and over again.
Man,
and the brewery is a perfect intersection of art, science, and business. And you gotta
master all of them.
You gotta try to master all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think there's mastery, right?
No, you're always learning. You're always evolving. You're always trying to improve.
Do you know how to make moonshine?
So our next project is Eighth Wonder Distillery, and we will be making vodkas, gin, and white whiskey, aka moonshine.
Damn. That's actually what leads to my next and final question is what's next for Eighth Wonder this year? What y'all got working that the people should know?
We're working hard on trying to open up our distillery. It's located across the street from the brewery. It'll have a small tasting room. As I mentioned, we'll be doing vodkas, gins, and white whiskeys, all the clear stuff. And then we'll throw some of those whiskeys in barrels. And in a few years, we'll have some real aged whiskey.
Man, that's pretty dope, man. I look forward to that. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it, Ryan.
My pleasure. And Eighth Wonder's got mad love for Donkey Boy and the Donkey Show.
Already. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.
That was dope, man. Appreciate it, man. Now a word from one of our sponsors.
Hello, this is Erin Rogers with Roger Silvera here on the Donkey Show to bust your copyright myths. So, you might have heard of the poor man's copyright. The theory goes that if you create something, whether that's artwork or music or a film, and you mail it to yourself, that you then have copyright protection, because if you don't open that envelope and you've got the postmark on there, you can prove the date you created it. The problem with that theory is that you've either registered your copyright or you haven't. And if you mailed it to yourself, you haven't registered it. So save your postage and mail it to the Copyright Office instead so you can be protected.
Donkey, 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 donkey show, donkey, 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 donkey show, donkey, 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 donkey show. Hosted by Bentley.